Hey, what about now? Is that better? Hey, dudes, can you hear me? Okay, I know what's happened. I know what's happened. Tell me what you reckon's happened. I'll tell you what happened. Streamlabs dumped the settings, and I'm not sure whether it was triggered by something we'd said in the previous one. The microphone was all fine. I just looked up there then, and the settings are down. That's all right. If we're up, we're up. We're not angry. We're going to talk about dating, the perils of dating today. The perils. Give us a thumbs up if you are happily married, and I think there's nothing better than a good married couple that go their entire lives, which means that they save their money, have their kids, have their life, have success, and don't know what the hell we're talking about, and get sex as well. No, Vids, it did crash before the sound. I just don't know what the hell is going on with it. Because all the buttons and everything is here is saying that's all fantastic. Fantastico. Yeah, so Joshy, you don't have a missus. Okay, if you don't have a missus, put a thumbs down if you can. And that, for the ladies, that means you don't have a guy either. Can you put an emoji face if you're actually looking but just don't know how, or you're scared of the new rules of dating, modern dating, the perils that fall therein? I've got a couple of videos I'm going to throw up for you in a second. If this is your first time here, subscribe and let us know who you are in chat, because we care who you are. Space Ninja, come with the Space Cowboy. Clarion O'Neill, Nicole King, Lauren is here. Kane and Peppers, wife, you're stuck with me. I like it, Peppers. I do. I like it. I want you to have success and happiness. Stay single and mingle. Be careful, Red Man, because if you do it for too long, you fall into a trap, or you can't bond, and eventually you can become that guy that's barracking for a team for 50 years that never wins a premiership. Robbie Wool, up and down, up and down. It depends who comes into his jail cell. Dylan, nice name. Case. Lightfoot hasn't got a missus. That's okay, neither do I. I haven't dated for over 5 years now so that I could keep my daughter as my soulmate, so she didn't think I left her mum because anything her mum had done wrong, which it wasn't. It was all about me and my inner anger. Okay, Lauren says she was filling out a new dating profile before the stream. Fantastic. Sabo, Commander Sabo, there he is. Now been in 23 years, one never again. Give it time, Red. Give it time. I'll be looking one day. One day. I just don't know when, because mostly with blokes, it has to be about timing. Now, we'll put one of the videos on in a second so that we can have a bit of a visual rather than just cats. But roaching is a new term that is being used, and it's another way of calling someone... what do they call it? Jared, g'day, mate. What's another name for a WHORE? 304. Yeah, someone who's whore, basically. Male or female, it's called roaching. And it means unprotected, dirty, promiscuous, sleeping arrangements, partner after partner, where if you found out you'd caught something, you wouldn't even know who to go and warn. What have you done to me? I'm perpetually itchy. I live in purgatory, unable to sleep. But I also don't want to go and see a doctor about it, and I'll probably pass it on to 3 people who can fight better than me. Yeah, Red, the right person just comes and fits into your plans, and life is how I felt before my wife. That's beautiful. You do need to understand as you get older, but what you used to settle for might not look the same. But your eyes will still be able to understand the beauty of brand new leather as opposed to the old pencil case after you start dating someone as they get older and have spent too much time between a Santorini swimming pool. Jodie Stevens from USA, she's happily married. She's got a fantastic guy called Matty. Looks like Santa. Right, great guy. She's from the USA. Can we get some thumbs up for Jodie there? The town bike is the Darwin term, and it's a fitting term. And we don't like to be disparaging to our lady subscribers, but do understand that 98% of people that watch the channel are male. So we tend to look that way. We tend to be a little bit biased that way, but we understand that you just get a tough trot too sometimes. Let's start with men. If you're going to date a woman and she has children, do not date her if you're not going to take it seriously, right? The reason why I say that is because she might be also looking for a nest egg for her kids. She might be trying to, although you might think she's trying to use you for resources, and there's probably an element of truth to that too. But just be careful you don't stuff her kids around, Also, when you go over there, ladies, don't string a guy along and allow him to get to a stage where he loves your children, supports your children, protects your children, and then cut him away at a time where you're hurting your own children as well as him. And that goes vice versa. Let's put a video on, Kaz, so we can make it a little bit more. Hey, Maddie, at 40 years, holy shit. That's a term right there. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. This is going to be the first video. This is what can scare you, because if you're a bloke, we'll just say 40 years old, okay, you've been around the bush a few times, you've been married, maybe you've fallen on hard times with your missus, you get back out there, you go onto the dating sites, realise that a lot of them are actually fake profiles because men pay for the dating sites, women tend not to, because they don't need to, because there'll be enough guys that are waiting in slips for you to come along. But this is the sort of thing that you can run into, understanding that someone might turn up to a date, you go, holy shit, you don't look like your profile picture. As a matter of fact, that was fake news of the deepest order, deep state, fugazi. But at the same time, you might go, you know what, we had a few drinks, we had something to eat, but you don't realise you took this one home. Which one? Let's see it, Kaz. Come on, Mr. Music.
Something to say about the fact that I got 6 kids with y'all. Why it is better to do it this way. If I had 6 kids with all the same dude, I get 34% of his income, which is only $680 a month. If I got 6 kids with 6 different dudes, I get 17% from each one of them, which is $340 a month from each one. $340 a month times 6 baby daddies is $2,040.
Okay. So that basically died in the arse then, right? But what it basically said is you do not know what you're getting involved in. This woman goes out and uses a pencil case as a trap. She's trying to get as many daddies, as many kids as possible for financial future. Don't know if she's a good mum, doubt it. Okay, I'm sure the bonding and these 6 guys probably sit at the same pub together and go, how did she trap you? Righto? You need to be able to pair bond with people as well. It's not about the numbers. God's not going to high-five you when you get to heaven and say g'day and say good on you, nice number, you done your dad proud. If you're good looking, the more chances you're going to get yourself in a shitty position because they're chasing you now, trying to get you in a position to keep you at skyrockets. So be real careful, because guess what? Her body, her choice, she's not going to get rid of it if you're a good catch, believe me. And you may not also get a chance to be in the life of that lovely child that doesn't deserve anything other than the best parents possible, like the rest of us. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Simon. Hey, Bretty. Baru. What a sec. Yeah, but how much of a difference you reckon there is? I'm not sure what that one was. Lots of life IQ. I get lots of attention from gentlemen, but I've got high standards. Okay, and just remember, team, just when you get a lot of attention doesn't mean they want to be with you. It means they want something from you. If you deliver it early, you may not end up having a chance of anything. It might end up being, okay, I got exactly what I wanted. There was no mystery. I got the whole show bag. I got to actually drive the Lamborghini for free, or beat up Datsun B, whatever your chassis comes out as. I'm a big believer in the cold contact, in going over to someone saying, hey, how you going? But that's been ruined by a couple of things. Hashtag me too. Don't like it. Don't support it. Also, I don't believe in hashtag believe all women, because the flip side of that is hashtag believe no men. That's what it says. So every case needs an element of evidence, needs a looking at both sides of a story after the combatants or those making allegations or defences have been separated, and you can get the actual story out without the emotion, which you won't get from their friends or family, just like I would support my daughter no matter what she said. So just be careful of that. You know, when you go onto a dating site, naturally, you don't know what's going to be on the other side. You don't know how the date can end up. You can end up getting in the car with someone else who's picking them up to go back to their house, only to find that you are now surrounded by combatants or those jealous ex-lovers that you have beaten out, okay? And then you give them this one. Where are we? Let's get out of here for a second. I love it.
That's a beta male, not an alpha male. Beta male, you're a beta male, not an alpha male. What a shame. Mommy's boy.
For some reason, none of these are finishing. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Mr. Buckaroo, never been on a dating site. So few times he's been on a dating site, he spelt it wrong. In my life, back in my day, we had to go out and try and pick up. Not easy with a rough head. I've got me father's looks. As a matter of fact, he's better looking. I get it. You know, but now you can't go up to a girl in the workplace because that's #MeToo, but they can come up to you. And in the military, there is girls in the army. I don't recommend it, okay, because it can get yourself in the shit with the defence system as well. You now can't take a girl for a drink because now they can say, I couldn't give consent. Now, there is so many pitfalls. Where can you actually meet them? Do you go to a sport and then try to talk to them and then they'll think that was your angle? Where can you actually ever go up to a girl other than on a platform that offers lies, innuendo and subterfuge to actually get this, which is the reason why I say, is this Rome burning? The next thing we're going to see is the wrong people having kids while the right people don't have kids. Putting careers before family, because you do change. You do change when a child comes along. You start being a father and a mother when your partner is pregnant. It's not when the baby is born. You become a mother or a father, I'll say it again, when your better half is pregnant. And you will feel like a father too. Jody, this has actually happened to one of our sons. He has twin daughters. And in this state, when mother and father aren't married, mother has all the choices. She says father does not get contact. That'd be a very dangerous thing if that happened to me. And one of the things that upsets me about the modern dating thing is, Jody, is so often we see the biological father who wants to be in the life of his child that has all of these court-issued dramas in all of the Western world, what he can and what he can't do, yet the new boyfriend has no one come over and see if he is suitable to be in the house with this biological father's children or without his consent, while the biological father is paying for the life and times of Grizzly Adams, of his ex-missus, with his children that he may not get to see, whether it be because of whatever reason. It is absolutely heartbreaking. I've been the middleman so many times for young soldiers who have either dated and got someone pregnant and it hasn't been a loving union but didn't have a choice, whether a relationship broke up when a soldier came home, okay, and it was a horrible breakup. You know, there are so many ways it can go nasty. Let's have a look at another one, shall we? I'm sure all of you would have some fantastic stories that you could pass on. Here's some things that I'd say to ladies if you're watching now. If you're a lady and watching, and I'm sure that Lauren, okay, and Jody would also agree with me when I say the logic behind this one in a second. I'll test you out. Not that I like testing people at all, actually. Okay, here's the next one. Come on, play for me, dude.
What do you think about feminism? Or just hearing that word, what does that kind of make you think of?
Okay. I quickly made sure that that was a short video because it made me so goddamn angry. You know, I'm sorry, but I hate the word feminism. Hate it and everything it stands for. Because it's so picky with what it picks up and decides is important while completely ignoring the benefits that you get just by your gender. Okay, I understand there's advantages to both genders, the two that actually exist. You know, I get it. You know, but why would you say to someone, and she was actually saying before this interview that he's a good-looking guy to a friend on the phone, so she was happy of what she saw. And he was being polite, he was dressed well, he was on time, and I dare say he was paying for this dinner. Why would you say, what do you think about feminism? What is there a quicker way to blow a hole in the boat and make it sink? I couldn't think of one. You know, the other ones, what I'd say to young ladies is never ask ever about what do you think about having children. Okay, and I'm not here to just hit and play. I'm here for the long-term relationship. I'm going to explain that one to you. And men, if you hear this, be very, very careful. Because you might be going out to see what this relationship, whether it has a chance or not, right? Willing to pay for the dinner, willing to be the gentleman, dressed up, turned up on time, respectful of her, regardless of the fact that you may not get the book that you saw in the catalogue. It might now look like a haggard book that was on the Titanic. Okay, but by saying that, you've just scared the shit out of the guy. You've just wanted him to say yes to marry you on the very first night. You've also told him, through one way or another, if you go home with her, you will be having children with her. And she's the one that determines how that happens. And whether you want it or not, it doesn't matter. So ladies, this is what I mean. If you want someone and you want to have children with them and you want to have a relationship with them, it doesn't matter what a guy says. Put some thumbs up if you agree with me here, team. If you actually pitch that to me about wanting kids, about wanting marriage, wanting the fairy tale wedding, and that's not what I'm down for, you might scare me the hell away despite the fact I actually really, really like what I see in front of me. Yeah? Okay, if you just went out and had some fun, kept it light, kept it entertaining, giggle, bit of flirting, hold back a little bit, touch their hand, ask them about himself, you know, actually get to know them, guess what? Everything a guy didn't think he wanted might turn around and he might actually think this girl's different. Simply because you didn't pen him into a long-term relationship on the very first night before he's even had a chance to pay for your meal. Don't say it. You will know at the end of that night whether you want to see this guy again. He will know at the end of the night whether he's going to see you again. Don't go home with him on the first night or you will lose him. You will. Make it a second night. Okay, because that means the dog chases the bone, so to speak. A dog doesn't like a piece of steak that's just sitting on the cement in the middle of the day, unaccompanied, unsupervised. They'll probably walk past it and think there's something wrong with that. Now, play a bit hard to get. Yep. Don't let the night go too long. Guys, we get scared real quick if we feel like we're getting trapped. Yep. Just got over COVID. Deckfish, all good now. I don't do second night either. Well, you can't go too long, otherwise you're still going to walk. There's none of this, wait a month, wait 2 months. Not a girl on earth is worth it. None. Because you might actually be walking into a daddy problem that she might have there where you don't realise there's an intimacy problem and you're never going to get that. And I know good guys that are dating people where they do all the work, they do all the providing, they do all the protecting, but they get no honey in return. So you've got to be careful of that. It can be scary when a guy is not very intimate. When a guy, okay, can only basically rise to the occasion once every however many days due to testosterone fleeing his body because he's a beta. Okay, this doesn't make you beta. But we can't pretend. We can't go in a race if we're not ready. Hey, Josh, how you going, mate? Redman, that's all can do, Space Ninja. Lightfoot says, I would have been the girl in that scenario. I used to know what I want and be upfront. If you be upfront, you don't deserve anything. Okay, because what you've done is created a non-negotiable wall between you and them where they have no out. There's nothing they can do but say, I can't see you again. Yep. Hey, Kaz and team. G'day, Ibrahim. How you going, mate? Thanks for your messages the last few days. It's been great hearing your successes, mate. Tuan Tran, love to see you back. There you go. Lauren Dates have to make the same effort. Yep. And one of the things that with online dating, and so many of my mates are going through this, is you might have 47 matches. And this is the advice I gave to one of my good friends. I said, why do you see it as 47? You know, out of 47, how many of them are a trap or a problem or a mistake or a lie? What if you just narrowed it down and said, okay, I'm going to give 4 of these girls a date, but guess what? If the first one is great, I'm going to cancel the rest of the dates, because there's nothing worse I could imagine, I haven't done it yet, than going on a date and it all feels awesome. You give them the message in the courting way to say the date went awesome, I'd love to see you again, and they give you a sort of, yeah, that'd be nice sort of response, but you can feel like she's already got 4 or 5 other dates lined up. So it doesn't matter how good I go tonight. She wants to see all 5 of those people before she decides on the guy that came on the first night. It's not going to happen. You're now a distant book in the bookcase. And so can the girl if you do it that way. You know, if you're over 30, over 35, and you just want some peaceful life, a great partner, and someone has met the metrics of what you think may not be perfect, but is good enough, get rid of the rest. Don't see anyone else. Stop it right there. Cut the train off, and then if it doesn't work, then maybe get back on the saddle. But you don't want to see all 47 just to make sure number 1 was okay, and now you've got no choice of number 1 because serendipity, she's going to see you out, or one of her friends is going to see you out, because if they like you, they're going to send pictures of you to their friends, and you could blow what could have been a lifelong companion. And at the end of the day, in your 20s, doesn't seem like a good idea. 30s, may not either. 40s and 50s, I tell you what, it wouldn't be bad. Women just want to use us for sex. It's true. Yeah, it is true. They're the master. It's true. Just don't let people use my body as a playground until it is potential. Yep. All right. All I'll say, Lauren, is don't wait too long. Okay. Be careful. Okay. Be careful, but don't wait too long. Because that's the same as saying, you have to marry me. That's the way the guy will see it. I am Deadpool. No, you're not. Wish you the absolute best deck. It doesn't go away, fellas. You just deal with it better as time goes on. I stagnated in life after she passed. Now I'm keen on the ADF after a heap of thought. Been working hard to get there. Everyone is impressed when they see someone on their life mission. You know, someone who's motivated, someone who's happy, someone who's positive, and someone who's choosing action over words. Absolutely. You'd be just as impressed by them as well. All right. Connie Meme, sorry, Kaz, got to disagree. That's fine. I waited for 6 months before bedroom. But she paid for the KFC on the first date. So that's what I expect. Oh, well, maybe that's the way relationships work in Bathurst. I don't know. Oh, shit. Sorry, I disagree. I'll wait for 6 months before bedroom. But you're honest, she paid. If we're dealing with a man here, I'm sorry. You've got to get it. You've got to get it. Where are we?
As a beta male, not an alpha male. Beta male.
You're waiting 6 months for sex.
Beta male. You're a beta male. Not an alpha male. What a shame. Mommy's boy.
I love it. Women just yeah. Dude. Yep. But just to be careful, guys and gals. And no matter what anyone talks about, we're living in different times, team. We're living in different times, and they are not friendly times. They're not. So just be real careful, please. because there is nothing sadder than watching a great person who's being overlooked by someone who's wasting their time and preventing them from actually finding their life bond partner. Yep. Just got to shed off the last few kilos. Deck, whatever it takes, mate. Now it makes real women look like playthings. That's right, Jody. That's right. I agree. You know, and men are about timings. They are. You know, when the timing is right for a gentleman, sometimes you're going to see that really good-looking guy with a girl. You go, whoa, what happened there? But when the time is right, he just wants to hold your hand. You don't have to be perfect. That's why guys will go down and date a barista instead of the ladies that want to date the doctor, sort of thing. We'll accept you for who you are as long as it is not, what do we call it? As long as there's peace and there's some balance and there's some femininity mixed with your, hopefully, testosterone-driven masculinity to get the balance. Don't be the beta male. You know, being the nice guy. If you're only after hookups, go out. Don't be the beta male. You won't get shit. It's like a seagull with no legs trying to beat you to the chip. Won't happen. Mr. Buccarooni, I blew 2 marriages in the army, folks. Had a kid in each. Wouldn't change it for the world. And there's a really good thing there. Kids. You won't know it till you've got them. They are the best thing in the world. They really are. My selfishness was there until the day I saw my little girl. And after that, I turned into a beta male. For her, I am. Yep. Have tried any meat pies yet, Mr. Buccarooni? I played the field enough before my wife, and she is so waiting 3 to 6 months to build a bond was worth it for me. How long ago was that? Cane and Peppers? After the last 3 cheated with my friends. You must have some good-looking friends there, sir. I'm on the same path. That's beautiful. If you have enough partners, team, I tell you, how can you possibly spot the good one from the bad one? That can just come down to timing. All right? Just be careful. Because you'll send yourself broke as well. And if you make a couple of mistakes of those, or if you're a guy and she's a good-looking gal and it seems too good to be true, chances are you could be running into some kinetic energy with the other guys that she said no to the night before that paid for last night's dinner. You know, they're not going to ask what's going on. In their mind, she's a girlfriend. She might have texted this guy for the last frickin' 3 weeks. And then he sees you out with her, out to dinner. You don't even know he exists. Be careful. Girls, don't go to a guy's house that you meet, that you haven't met at a neutral place first. Because he might not be the weirdo, it might be his buddies. Hey, Kane Higgins has a girlfriend. Yeah, I know. From Rockhampton, I think she is. Or poke red. Do you mean red-headed? Robin. Cheeky domestic. Anyway. So, guys, that's enough on that subject. We spent half an hour on modern dating. Give them a go. Don't know where you're going to goddamn beat them. If you're in Sydney, good luck. Good luck. If you're in Cairns, pretty good place. And if you're in Ukraine, you're probably bloody laughing. I knew there was guys in Bosnia, and they said what would happen, and the same thing happens with soldiers in the US when they go down to South America on, was it the Panama or something? And basically, I agree with that economy memes. The worst thing I see with dating is guys losing their hobbies to spend the time with the missus. That's a beta male straight up. You got to maintain the individuality, and she'll love you for it when the shine is off, and then she wants to have some time with her friends. But British soldiers, when they went to Bosnia, they'd be at VCPs and stuff, and you'd see the most beautiful women in the world, they'd say, until they smile. You know, the British smile, some of them. And guys would find themselves in opportunities, let's just say, where they get themselves compromised. But then the next day, you'd have the entire family, okay, with everything they own, basically at the VCP saying, he's now going to be our son. Yeah, that's not a good way to finish. And if you go to the Philippines or you go to Thailand or one of those Asian countries and you got your father's looks or bright red hair, you very well might walk away married after a weekend. So be careful of that. Don't lose your hobbies. Yep, I want the girls to maintain their friendships, maintain their own time. You know, what better way to get a guy back on the hook than to go, no, I can't see you this weekend. I'm going to do something with the girls. He'll be shitting himself the whole time, looking at his phone, thinking, have I lost this fish? Because to us, it's all the game. It's all the fish. That's what it is. Not wrong with a British smile coming from a Brit. Clayton, come over to Australia, mate. I'll let you stay here for a little while. You can have some of our fluoride water and you'll be back to hunting again. Red man, I got bright red hair. Where are they? You're talking tough because it's night time and the sun is not out. I get it. When you see someone with red hair dating someone with red hair, you think, holy shit, that's going to be an angry kid. My sister has been in a similar circumstance. She's now married, but the ceremony is in May this year. There you go. Okay, are you happy with the partnership? Are you happy with him? Remember, he's going to be a brother. If one of the things on my list is not the fact that I need the girl to look in a certain way. I want to love her parents. You know, I want to love her brother and sister. You know, I want to know that I'm going into a family where I love their family as well. When I go around to their house, it's not because I need to just see her. It's because the union that I want to go and have with her father, okay, with her mother, protecting their children, you know, and all that sort of shit. It's the whole package. It doesn't matter how good the partner is if they come from a combative, horrible, you know, witchcraft, you know, voodoo family. I'm not talking about you, Lauren. Then, yeah, it's not worth it, team. Because you're going to be around that entire family and you're gaining family members, remember, and the problems that come with it. We all need our time alone. Absolutely. My partner has to become a part of my family. There you go. Absolutely. I'm Deadpool. You got plenty of cows, though, Daz. Yep. And a cow will keep you warm in winter. Robin knows that one. Guys and gals, let's move on to the next topic. We're on this one for a fair while. Okay. So let's get out of, gets out of the slides. All right. Let's get out of there. Let's go on to here. Let's talk about the JTAC. Okay. The Joint Terminal Attack Coordinator, Controller. Right. Those guys. Or the CCT, the Combat Control Team, whatever it is, which is RAF. That goes through 4 Squadron. I've got a video on here. I'll play it in here for a second. Is Scotty, how long did the process take for you, Clay? I'm not sure what that's about. With these guys, the JTAC, right? They are the guys that can have the sophistication on the ground to be able to layer effects, whether that be B-52s, whether that be fast air, whether it be also with Kazovacs. They're a group of guys whose weapon is the radio. Right? It is a sophisticated role. They are a force multiplier, which means that what they offer on the battlefield is far above the punch that you would get from an armoured vehicle, that you would get from an infantry soldier or call sign. They are the C3 that command, that control the communications between ground and air. When things are moving fast, they become the eyes on the ground. They're going to work with things like the RED, the risk estimate distance, to pick the right vehicle to deliver the right ammunition for the right effect on the right target for maximum amount of destruction, of prosecution of the target, so that they can also call it as close as possible to friendly troops or civilians without actually injuring anyone or key installations. Okay. They will do a battle damage assessment on that to determine whether, okay, it was effective or whether they need a repeat for that mission to happen again. It sounds good. Okay. We've been the guys that have used, equivalent to JTACs, where they called in naval gunfire, where they called in fast air, where they called in bombing runs, okay, whether it be artillery, whether it be mortars, whatever, forward observers, a version of. But the thing is, they are not a kinetic capability themselves. They're a team that is like a remora, the shark that fits on the bottom of the great white and swims around and eats its slops. Okay, they are protected by another call sign. Now, for you to get a JTAC team, they don't go out by themselves. They might get put into a position of observation working with SOCOM, Special Forces Command, because they can be used and allocated and attached to almost everyone. Press like now if you do. But these guys are a necessity on the battlefield, but one you're not going to get. What do you mean, Kaz? What do you mean? Okay. That's a good point. Put down your deal breakers for dating. What would be your absolute deal breaker as a call to action if the other person did that? To me, it would be if they smoked. Okay, that is always going to be that. Or if they speak about feminism and all that lefty sort of shit. I don't want to get involved in that in the second half of my life. Right. But when we're talking about conventional or asymmetric threats, asymmetric threats have been what we've been living in Iraq, what we've been in Afghanistan. Okay, it's not a conventional battle where you're up against people that are simultaneously hunting you, that have done the IMAP, the Individual Military Appreciation Process, or the Strategic Military Appreciation Process. They're not people that have necessarily the finesse to be able to come after you so you're on the defensive. If Scotty, okay, and Deadpool in a conventional fight, there's not going to be enough JTAC teams to travel around. So you would bid for them and say, as part of your mission profile, okay, I need to be, for the FIBA, the forward edge of the battle area, I want these guys with me because they're going to be able to see the target area, okay, from my fire support position to be able to put the most accurate fires down to use those munitions to get mission success. But it's not the case in conventional. There's just not going to be enough of them around. There's going to be weapons rounds allocated. There's not just jets and artillery just waiting by for everyone every time you want to use it because it's a threat. Because there'll be times, especially in a defensive position, where everything is going to be used by commanders onto an area. Consider it the white blood cells going to where the problem is. You might be a lesser injury that doesn't get an allocation of indirect or directed fires or assets onto that target area. So the JTAC is a fantastic resource to have, okay, when they are part of a larger organisation. You're not going to see them normally attached to a platoon or minus if it is not out there on its pattern alone, or maybe it will be if it's attached to a Special Forces organisation. I've got, in the first video that I put out tonight, there's actually a link to a guy called Troy Knight, who was Life on the Line, and that's an hour or so long podcast. This guy knows the same people as I know. He was a JTAC that was attached to Commando, I believe, and I got into that, and it seemed okay. I don't know where the pathway for Air Force into 4 Squadron is that would give them ability to be on the ground in a situation where they would actually be used that way. Commander Sabo, would JTAC come under signals? No, they wouldn't, mate. Although they are signal qualified and their job for most of the team is to carry the radios normally for a captain, okay, what it is it's a course that a lot of people can do, but it is owned specifically by, I believe, artillery. Yep. Beautiful, mate. Hopefully catch up with you someday. Cannon Peppers. Are JTAC the ones that are overhead in the gunships? No. Not so cow. They're the pilots and the loadmasters. Okay, the JTACs are the guys on the ground with mobile call signs, whether they be dismounted, which means on foot, or whether they be in an armoured column, etc., or part of a deliberate attack. Okay, as part of the synchronisation. When you start to get into CCT, command control teams, etc., now there are sophisticated guys from the RAF that are able to actually do a lot more sophisticated things and have a lot more knowledge on the fire air traffic controller sort of finesse. So they're a really well-trained individual. How about I put a couple of videos on so we can understand a little bit better. This is that his job is to be prepared to be on the Titanic, to go and say, kids, family, get in the car. Dad has to look at this. At the end of the day, a man needs to be able to step up, make decisions, okay, and not worry about, is she going to be upset with what I say? Because if you only ever tell them what you think you can get away with, you'll get chipped away, and then they'll disrespect you and leave you anyway. So, a beta male, I think, like a feminine man, is another way of saying it, I reckon. The guy that can't chop wood. I don't see myself as an alpha either. I don't believe I'm an alpha male, but I know I'm not a beta male either. Height scare me as well. You know when you see men do shit and it makes you cringe, you go, don't do that. Don't give away your man points on that shit. I'm old school. I don't even like seeing guys wear pastel coloured clothes, even when they're playing golf. Hate it. Anyway, the girl needs to know that she can rely on you to step up, okay, when there's danger around. And maybe they can't if all you ever do is try to appease those around you. Right, next one.
The first thing that goes through my mind when I have an aircraft about to check on is first and foremost the safety of the aircraft.
I'm immediately plotting that target, figuring out where it is in
JTAC.
relation to all of the friendlies in the area, not just my own position.
From there, once I get an air asset, I'll start thinking about how I'll route him safely. I'll get the information from him about what he has, what his capabilities are, and what bombs he's carrying. I'll brief him in on roughly what the plan's going on, and then from there we'll come up with a plan on how to best engage targets for the ground commander.
Raven, this is your time to bomb on target. Request 1 by GBU 59. Already case brief.
And it's not enough to just get a weapon onto a target. You need to determine whether that has achieved the effect. Did we destroy it? Did we neutralise it? The effect is what's important, not necessarily just hitting the target.
So in simple terms, a Joint Terminal Attack Controller, a JTAC, is a qualified service member who's able to call in close air support to support troops on the ground.
It changes the whole picture for a commander to have a JTAC in their midst. It allows them to strike swiftly and unexpectedly, minimising risk to friendly forces, and employs all the attributes of air power that grounded troops don't often have at their disposal.
There you go, mate.
Exercise Black Dagger is being held in Delamere Air Weapons Range and the environs of RAF Base.
Racist
Tyndall.
dagger.
It's the application phase of the Joint Terminal Attack Controller course, the first part of which occurs in the environs of RAF Base Williamtown, before moving north to engage in more realistic scenarios on an actual range using real weapons, so that our Joint Terminal Attack Controller graduates are ready to go when they graduate.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely be very proud if I pass this course. However, at the same time, there's a burden of responsibility that comes with this role. It's not to be taken lightly. This is a massive responsibility that gets put on myself and all the other JTAC students who have successfully completed this course. We are trusted by the Air Force to be able to control the pilots to ensure their safety at all times, but also support the troops on the ground to make sure that we achieve everything we need to safely and effectively.
There we go, team. They are an absolute luxury to have on the ground if you've got them, but they have to be supported by aircraft and munitions that can help you. And if you're in a police action, or if you're in a position where you're not in a large call sign, it's unlikely you're going to get those or the rounds that come with it. And you'll know before you step out on a patrol, you'll be making and using registered targets as you go, making safe, making unsafe. Make sure you do it right, and you'll get overlap of those assets. Space Ninja. So you would see a good amount of bad tattoos. Yep, Lauren's a fantastic tattooist. Okay. Bombs away, Irish Mike's. I wouldn't be able to sit still long enough to do a tattoo. Spent a week at Delamere Air Weapons Range. I've never heard of that, Simon. Deckfish, some of the horrible tattoos make me laugh. Yeah, there's some horrors. There definitely is. To me, the worst tattoo is the unfinished tattoo. I always cringe, especially when it was the ones of Clooney, when they didn't realise that wasn't a real tattoo he had in Dust to Dawn, and then they'd get that, thinking it was similar to a Kiwi's tattoo, but then they'd realise they'd made a mistake, but then they wouldn't get it filled in. You still see them everywhere like that, all the time. Horrors. Lauren, it's breaking my heart, Space Ninja. One of the most satisfying parts of my job is to turn something shit into some folks' love. Well, that's a fantastic thing. That's worth every cent. Ciaran, I don't know how to say your name properly there, mate. I hope that I'm not butchering it. Ciaran O'Neill? Sounds good. Hey, Kaz, I know you said my chance of going inventory of 1 kidney, okay, 0 to slim. What about reserves? And if I can prove my specialist, my kidney is good to go, appreciate your advice. Yeah, but the thing is, Ciaran, what happens if you've only got 1 kidney? If something happens to your kidney, our bodies kind of need it. The sad reality is that we have people lining up to go into recruiting. So as soon as you walk in there with an injured wing, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to get picked, but it will definitely put you at the back of the line unless you're a female. Okay, and then what might happen later is you might get a phone call that says, okay, we will take you now. Would you consider this? Don't give up until they tell you don't reapply. That's what I'd say. Or if it looks like it's going to cost too much, or common sense says it's just not going to work for you, mate. That's why I say the most important thing is to have a plan B. It really is. Syrian, remember, one of the reasons I got kicked out of the army was because I got ulcerative colitis and Ainoos disease, while I was on operations. Ultimately, because of my lower bowel being perforated all the time and shitting blood like a mosquito that couldn't hold its fill, they said no to me too. So I lost my career after 24 years for the same things that can prevent people from actually joining. Yep. Daz, Deadpool, point more left or right than Daz. I'm not sure what that was about. Mr. Buck, that Rafa tat is awesome. I haven't seen that one yet. Sometimes I tell lies too, Mr. Buckaroony. Sometimes it's to not tell someone the truth because you don't want to offend them. Sometimes because you appreciate their friendship. And other times, I know it's just smart to. Right? More people have died for the truth than a lie, I'd imagine, sir. If I had $1 for every penis I've tattooed, oh wait, I got $400 for every penis. Deadpool, I point straight balls, go left and right. Can't hit mine far, they're bloody empty. Right, so guys and gals, JTAC. It's not something you join the military and go into JTAC normally. You go in there for an FO, you normally go in, get your time in at core, and then you go over to that, unless you're going as a forward observers, etc., like some of our previous subscribers have gone to. But any time spent in the uniform is going to be fantastic for you before you go into there. Maxi Power knows all about this stuff. Maxi Power has done his time as the forward observer and JTAC, I believe. I'm covered in shit tats so long as there's a good story attached. I reckon that's a pretty good call. It's a good call. Maxi Power, is there anything that you can let us know right now that we need to know about JTACing or etc. that maybe we haven't covered? I don't want people to assume that they're always going to have JTACs with them. There's not enough JTACs to go around. Yep. Deadpool. We might wrap this up soon. This was meant to be a 1-hour stream tonight, touching 3 subjects. But again, I don't even know what happened before with Streamlabs or YouTube deciding they don't like us talking about what's happening in Eastern Europe. So in summary, I would say be very careful of online dating. But also don't be disrespectful and don't look at 47 opportunities to date that you have to complete all 47 dates. As soon as you get one that you think is good enough, settle there. There's a reason why you chose that one before the other 47. Sit tight, treat them with respect, and understand that every single person is different, and the perfect one might be right in front of you. Because if you try to go through them like a packet of tubes, you might just find that you're never happy, and then you can't blame anyone but yourself. That's what I reckon. With Ukraine, I don't think we've got any play over there. I don't think there's a reason for us to go over there. You know, there's a lot of places in a lot worse positions than Ukraine, I can tell you now. The people in Ukraine are still lovely. Okay, they still have happiness. They still have families. I saw bugger all litter in their streets. They've got historical significance. They're making the best of a bad thing. I hope the energy gets sorted out over there and the gas prices that are holding them down. You know, but I do not think there is a time for Australia to go back and put the blood of our sons back on their soil to make the grass greener. I don't think so. Maxi Power, lean on the attached JFO in the battalion just as good as JTAC. Digger dependent. Yep. And it's also an all-core requirement, especially when you get to your junior leadership training centres, that you have to be able to do all-call call for fire, etc. You know, the funny thing is that we use all the time. We use Raytel to communicate in our signals law, LORE, and procedures, how we talk back to each other. But when you talk to rotary wing or when you talk to aircraft, you talk to them to plain speech because they're moving so fast. There's no effing around. You talk to them like you're talking to you right now. You know, I don't know what's happening with the Jack man there, but he keeps getting cut down. Everyone send your wonderful older single gentleman friends my way. Be careful. You know, you haven't put any parameters on that one, Lauren. There might be a lot of old people standing in front of you in Tasmania soon. Damn, Deadpool knows my name, which is Lusac backwards. I don't really have too much more. I hope you enjoyed tonight. I'm sorry for any of the interruptions that occurred. You know, I never was a technician. You know, my ADD stops me from getting everything perfect, but I keep trying for you. I'm going to try and get a video out in the next couple of days about some different subjects. And Maxi Power, here's one for you, mate. Here's one for you and Daz and a bit of, he calls himself Deadpool, but we know it's Robin. Do you think it's time? Do you think it's time, what do you reckon through thumbs up, that Australia turns around and says to our politicians, we're not happy with a goddamn one of you, none of you. And the one thing we don't have in Australia is freedom of speech. We want it. Give us freedom of speech. Let's have a look at who can and who can't vote, who puts anything or nothing on the table, and let's make the contract again for today. Let's get some sort of constitution re-sort out so we can step forward, not blame the sins of the father, determine who votes for the future. It should always be people that add to the table. And also what we want as our expectations from our government rather than our goddamn government that keeps getting expectations from us without delivering. We're a fantastic country. We're worth fighting for. But I think it's time we re-rolled the dice and put these guys back in their place. Anyway, I agree, Deadpool. I agree. We need a Bill of Rights, and we need, as the second country ever, you know, because the USA, I believe, is the only one that has it, freedom of speech. Okay. Yep, Maxi, and I reckon the other one. Yeah. Well, let's go from here. Thanks for your service, Maxi. You know, you too, you bloody Somali veteran, Robin. And one last time before we go, let's get it out there.
That's a beta male, not an alpha male. Beta male, yes. Beta male, you're a beta male, not an alpha male. What a shame. Mommy's boy.
Pepsi drinkers. Yep, they're beta males. See ya. Peace to your mother.